So with Season 11 about 2 days away from my recording this video, I wasn't really sure if I was going to put a build video together today because as of next Tuesday the 28th, things could change drastically in the game. Now we know tomorrow, Monday the 27th, the game is going to live stream all of the details of what we can expect to see when Season 11 goes live. And as most of you know by now, one of the major talking points about Season 11 is the Ninja Bike backpack, and that is going to change a lot of builds out there, my friends. However, at this point, we have no idea when we're actually going to see it in Season 11. Is it going to be locked behind the main manhunt target, or will we actually have access to it in the seasonal reward track, which means we'll be able to pick it up when we get to a certain seasonal level? So in the meantime, today I wanted to highlight a build that was brought to my attention by one of our subscribers, Eric, a few days back. This thing is an absolute monster, and with or without the Ninja Bike, it absolutely shreds NPCs. What's up, my YouTube family? Graybeard with the Gaming Brigade, back with another Division 2 video, and we're going to jump right into the build breakdown because I spent the last minute talking about all the what ifs with the Ninja Bike backpack. We should have those answers very soon. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, and we are having a giveaway for a PlayStation 5, but I will go over those details at the end of the video as I always do. Now, starting with the specialization, I'm using Gunner for a few main reasons. First of all, we get some extra armor on kill. It does have a reload speed bonus. We have to go over a specific detail about that in a moment. You also have the ability to use the Banshee pulse. And chances are you noticed at the beginning of this video in that footage you just saw, I was using the Crusader shield, not the Banshee pulse, but at the end of the breakdown, I will show you the build with the pulse as well. So starting off with the gear, or actually the primary weapon, it is the Apartment SMG. Now in order to get that, you can farm for it in the Dark Zone when the SMG is the targeted loot, and you can also get it from a named cache because DZ exclusives can be found in named caches. So in order to do that, I recommend playing Countdown, earning Countdown resources, and buying those named caches. Now the reason this weapon is so effective is because of the talent perfectly measured, where the top half of the magazine has 20% rate of fire and minus 27% weapon damage. The bottom half of the magazine has minus 20% rate of fire and 33% total weapon damage. And one thing I strongly recommend when you're getting used to this weapon is really try to focus on not reloading this weapon at all, because you want to empty the clip every single time. And if you're like me, when you play this game, anytime you have a break between NPCs, you typically reload. And with this weapon, you really want to make sure you empty the clip every single time you're using this gun. Otherwise, you are wasting the second half of the weapon's talent. So again, just get used to it, because after a while, once you get the pattern down, that second half absolutely shreds NPCs. My secondary weapon for this build is the ACS-12 shotgun, and the only reason I've chosen that over the rock and roll is that it allows me to put a talent onto the weapon. For this version, I've put the talent close and personal, where killing an enemy within 7 meters grants 30% weapon damage for 10 seconds. Now moving on to the gear itself, you can see I'm using 4 Striker, 1 Sokolov, and 1 Walker and Harris. Starting with the mask, it's the first piece of Striker, and we're running all 4 so we get all of the gear set bonuses. You can see 2 pieces 15% weapon handling, 3 pieces 15% rate of fire, and 4 pieces Striker's Gamble. And pretty much on all of these pieces, I'm trying to stack crit hit chance and crit hit damage everywhere I can. And remember, your numbers are going to be dependent on the type of gear you have and how you like to run with the build itself. So for me, I like to keep my armor around like 1.3 or 1.1 million. So depending on what I'm actually doing in the game, I may switch my Striker mask. That first one, I could roll the core talent to armor if I needed, but it had weapon handling, which I really don't need. The second mask, you can see, has weapon damage, but I could re-roll that second attribute to crit hit damage, and I could add a crit hit chance mod on there as well. And this is really a perfect time to highlight the importance of taking your time when you're putting a build together. Focus on what you're actually going to be doing in the game and find something that really works for you. Now moving on to the body armor, it's the 1 piece of Sokolov, which is going to give us that 10% SMG damage bonus, and I'm running with the talent Obliterate, where critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds, stacks up to 25 25 times. Now, if you do not have a decent piece of Sokolov, I recommend putting a second piece of Walker and Harris here with the talent Obliterate on it, because that's going to give you a damage to armor bonus as well. Now we're going to move on to the holster, which is the first and only piece of Walker and Harris, which, as you can see, gives us a 5% weapon damage bonus. Once again, I've changed my core attribute to armor because I wanted a little more survivability, and again, stacking crit hit chance and crit hit damage, making our way to the knee pads, gloves, and the backpack. They are the 3 remaining pieces of the Striker's gear set. Once again, as you can see, crit hit chance, crit hit damage. I'm also using armor as well because that's where I like my character to be with a build like this. And as we make our way to the backpack, it is the 4th and final piece of the Striker gear set, and the reason why we want to use the bag is because that is going to give you the talent risk management. And as you can see, that talent is going to increase total weapon damage gain per stack of Striker's Gamble from 0.65% to 1%. That is a very nice jump. And as we make our way to the actual stats, once again, remember that these numbers are going to be dependent not only on the actual gear that you have equipped and the mods you have with them, but also your shade level watch as well. And for those of you that do not know, once you hit shade level 1000, all the bonuses on your watch are completely maxed out. Now, for the different versions of this build that I have, I range from 54% crit hit chance to 60%, and my crit hit damage will range from like 125 to 138. Again, it all depends on what gear I have equipped. And as far as my skills go, I have 2 different variations that I run with. One is with the assault drone because it's a great distraction to NPCs and puts out damage. I pair that with either the Crusader shield or the Banshee pulse because I can use that because of the gunner specialization. So once again, my friends, try out different things and see which works best for you. Most of you know by now that one of my favorite aspects about putting these build videos together is the family that we have at the channel. So as always, if you have questions, comments, feedback, please let me know. A huge shout out to Eric for bringing this build to my attention. And if you have any other builds you want to share, please leave them in the video description down below. As one thing I'm trying to do on a weekly basis is highlight some of the builds that you love running with in the game. You know we are a family here, and in any way we can help each other out, that's exactly what we want to do. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible support of this channel and remind you that, like I said earlier, we are having a giveaway for a PlayStation 5. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced May 4th of this year. On that note, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out. You can see a little bit more gameplay footage, and like I said at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
I think we're done here. Check yourself for extra hold.
Hostiles guarding location nearby. Incoming hostiles detected. Access key detected.